smart watches versus traditional watches. I'm Gagadi.
I'm Rob. Frank.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nick.
I'm Joey. So for the background of our research question, basically what we wanted to do was understand the market of smartwatches, and we took the responsibility of trying to answer the management dilemma for Apple, and we basically noticed that in comparison between smartwatches and traditional watches, most people have traditional watches, and we wanted to see which attributes about the different watches appeal to people and why they made those purchase decisions. So for our management dilemma, like I said, we're doing this survey for Apple to answer the question for them to see if they should continue with the Apple Watch or if they should change it based on the attributes and findings that we present here today.
So secondary research, the title of this study is An Acceptance Model for Smartwatches, Implications for the Adoption of Future Wearable Technology. The purpose of this article is to identify the key psychological detriments of smartwatch adoption, relative advantage, mobility and availability. The survey results of this study showed that smartwatch adoption is still in the growing stage, and the survey respondents are early adopters who will experiment with this novel technology. This article helped choose some of our variables for our survey. They included price, design brand, and added features. The second article that we found that helped was Can Wearable Technology Boast Corporate Wellbeing? This article was about how smartwatches can help within the workplace and what smartwatches will have to offer in the not too distant future. The purpose of this article is to show how smartwatches, although still in the infancy stage, can have a huge impact on the corporate world, being able to incorporate and use smartwatches for their work. This article helped find other variables for our survey. They include price, customization, how activities dictate what people buy, and battery life.
So basically our final research questions was to understand why customers choose to purchase traditional watches instead of smartwatches. Because traditional watches we thought were cheaper, stylish, simpler, and they would continue to exist in the market. And smartwatches we thought, particularly Apple's smartwatch, we thought that it was not very stylish, it was very pricey, and also that it might become obsolete in the future.
Now building off of what Gagan said, the questions within our survey looked at our hypothesis and tried to prove it or disprove it, and we intended to discover what kind of watch consumers will buy and which they prefer. Our questions went over wants, battery life, added features, durability, customization, price point, obsolescence, lifespan, designer brand, and environment. Looking at the first 5, wants. Number 1, this allowed us to define if the consumer or the individual doing the survey wanted a smartwatch or not. Battery life, classic watch tends to have a much longer battery life than a smartwatch where they have to be charged every night. Added features, such as games, apps, and other things are only on smartwatches, where a classic watch provides you with the basic needs of time, date, and maybe a stopwatch. Durability, obviously a classic watch is made with high quality materials, whereas a smartwatch uses delicate materials such as an LCD screen and a rubber band and can break easier. Customization such as a new face or a new band comes with ease with a smartwatch and can be changed every day, whereas a classic watch stays the same.
So breaking down our hypothesis a little bit more for you guys, we wanted to find the correlations between the people who want a smartwatch and these attributes and how they affect the want. So we wanted to see if price had anything to do with the reason why people wanted a smartwatch, if the style attributes about the watches had anything to do with why they purchased a smartwatch or a traditional watch, along with simplicity and obsolescence. And by obsolescence I mean like with smartwatches in a year or two they won't be the current generation because they're always coming up with new ones and they're obsolete. And we wanted to know if that had anything to do with why they wanted it or not.
And now on to quality of variables. First we're talking about the normality. So all our variables were normal except for durability, obsolescence, and life. And all the other variables were approximately normal, but not perfectly normal. And so the variables we dropped were the variables that were not normal, which were durability, obsolescence, and life. We also dropped life because it had a ketosis that was too flat, so we didn't think that this was useful. And then the initial conclusions from the distribution that we came up with is that people have very different preferences towards their various variables, such as durability and features, which led to inconclusive data, as well as a question could be better directed towards managing dilemma to make more better relationships. And so here are some of the usable variables, which include, some of them include price, want, environment. Here we listed some of the SKUs to give you a better idea of their normality, but the important point is that they're all normal enough to use, but not perfectly normal. And here are the rest of the usable variables, which are battery and brand. And again, we include the SKU. And but again, the most important point is they're normal enough to use. So here's the relationships we found. We used Pearson's correlation to evaluate these relationships. The first relationship is between price and want. We found that the majority of people wanted a smartwatch, but there was also a high percentage of people that thought that smartwatches were too expensive. This relationship had a p-value of 0.367, and it was an apparent relationship, but due to the p-value, it was not significant enough to make this conclusion. Secondly, we have want and battery. Again, a lot of people wanted smartwatches, but a lot of people also agreed that battery is an important component of a watch. This had a p-value of 0.189 and is an apparent relationship. And again, due to the p-value, this relationship was not significant enough to make a conclusion. And lastly, we have want and brand. Again, as I've stated, people generally want smartwatches, but there's also a good amount of people that said that designer brands are an important part of, is it something that they want in a watch?